Donut Lab released their third test report and video. Before we dig in, a quick recap from their earlier releases. The first video demonstrated its fast 11C rate charging. The battery did get hot up to 90 degrees Celsius, much hotter than the allowable limit for a traditional lithium-ion battery with a liquid electrolyte. Now, how hot is acceptable? Report number 2 took them all the way up to 80 degrees Celsius with no problem, then to 100 degrees Celsius, where the pouch cell lost vacuum, but it was able to perform normally immediately after it cooled down. Personally, I view this as a soft failure. It worked afterwards, so not a hard failure, but over time I would expect the cell's performance to degrade. Others online may disagree. Here's an overview chart of the claims that Donut Lab has made about their battery. I assigned the different reports to what claims they support and then gave them a donut rating. Either did the report confirm, mostly confirm, or partially confirm, or in some cases, there's been no confirmation yet. I thought that report number 3 would address cold weather performance and their claims, but I was wrong. Test report number 3 addresses something that I'm personally not concerned about at all, but it sure seems to bug them. A popular speculation online, a conspiracy theory, said that Donut Lab's battery is actually a supercapacitor, so they set out to prove that theory wrong. A supercapacitor stores energy electrostatically, a battery stores energy as a chemical reaction. They both have pros and cons to determine what applications make sense for them. The test starts off with a couple of charge and discharge cycles conducted at room temperature, close to 25 degrees Celsius. You can see the voltage going up to the stated maximum of 4.15 volts and then coming down. To prove it is not a supercapacitor, the test will recharge the Donut Lab battery, the Donut Lab solid state battery, and then let it sit for hours, 240 hours or 10 days. If this were a supercapacitor, we would expect to see significant voltage drop over that time. That's one of the reasons why they're not used in electric vehicles. It's not unheard of for your car or other vehicles to sit for days. Looking at the full 10-day test, you can see it holds a stable voltage over that time. Based on information online, you could easily expect to see half to a full volt or more of drop if this were a supercapacitor. Now, here's where the test gets a little peculiar. To prove their point, rather than charging the battery to full for this test, they only charge it to about 50%. At this lower state of charge and lower than peak voltage, it would drop over the first several hours into a resting voltage. Sure enough, that's what the Donut Lab battery does. It slides down to around 3.7 volts and then holds very steady over the entire duration. Again, a supercapacitor would be off this zoom chart scale. I think they only chose to charge it to 50% because during that first 10-hour period where the battery settles into its resting voltage, if it started off at a higher state of charge, the drop would be more pronounced, and people would say, aha, it is a supercapacitor. But Donut Lab concludes that this test proves it is not a supercapacitor. It must be some kind of battery. And to that I say, okay, let's go back to the chart. I give it, sure, a full donut. It wasn't the thing I was hoping that they would prove, but I don't see anything terribly wrong with it. Charging to 50% instead of 100% to me does not negate the whole test, but it's just another thing you got to look into and make sure there's not something weird going on. That's my quick take. Go check out the Donut Lab video for test number 3 and tell everyone what you think.